More than 50 people held candles this week during a vigil near the residence where Jared Remy allegedly stabbed his girlfriend Jennifer Martel to death on August 15th. So is domestic violence a problem in Waltham? And what is being done? In a statement this week, Waltham Police Sergeant Tim King said, quote, "Domestic violence is a very serious issue in society as a whole. Waltham Police has a protocol in place that is utilized in every domestic violence encounter." King added that the department is looking into how other communities deal with domestic violence. That's good news after a recent Boston Globe editorial said Waltham had no high-risk domestic violence team in place, a measure that has been effective elsewhere. So what are the statistics? There were 886 domestic violence incidents at Waltham in fiscal year 2012, up 11% from 790 the year before. That figure includes arrests, restraining orders, and harassment orders. Police Chief Keith McPherson told me the figures have remained stable in recent years. There is one officer assigned specifically to domestic violence with no immediate plans to hire another one. And what about domestic violence homicides? In 2009, in Garden Crest, Suleiman Yakuba Issa murdered the mother of his 3-year-old daughter and was later sentenced to life in prison. And watch how former Middlesex DA Jerry Leone described the Katumas murder-suicide in 2010.
And we've determined this to be an incident of domestic violence, murder-suicide by a husband against his wife.
Add Jennifer Martel, and that's 3 domestic violence murders in 4 years. An alarming statistic for a city of 60,000 with 0 homicides of any kind between 2005 and 2008. Are these homicides preventable? And what do those numbers mean? It's a complex problem with no easy solutions. Reach Beyond Domestic Violence Director Laura Van Zandt, who spoke briefly at this week's vigil, told me this week that, quote, "You don't really know what the numbers behind the numbers are." She said her Waltham organization works with a lot of victims who have no police involvement and that the courts can increase the risk to victims. In the Martel murder, for instance, she said that even if a dangerousness hearing had been scheduled by the DA, as critics have demanded, it's still possible Jared Remy would have been released, increasing the danger to Martel exponentially. So is there any good news about domestic violence in the city? Yes. The stakeholders have pledged to work together. The office of Middlesex DA Marion Ryan said that, quote, "It has a cooperative working relationship with the Waltham Police Department over the years that has led to many successful prosecutions in domestic violence cases," unquote. That includes 2 guilty verdicts against wife-beater and former Waltham Police Chief Thomas LaCroix. Waltham Police said their administration has recently met with Van Zandt to discuss their continuing partnership with REACH. And Van Zandt said that, quote, "We can move forward and do more with the police." Van Zandt told me that she agreed with what the DA said after the Martel murder, that victims are the best judges of their own safety. But that safety includes many factors beyond the abuser, the strength of the community and relationships with neighbors, family, and friends. In addition to its outreach services, REACH encourages small actions such as saying hi to neighbors and planning festivals to create an environment where victims feel like they're not alone and that help is out there. REACH's hotline is 1-800-899-4000. For Waltham Newswatch, this is Chris Wangler.